Do you feel too busy to prioritize your health? Maybe you want to feel stronger, get thinner, have more energy. But between work, responsibilities, your life, your family, health always seems to be the thing that just gets pushed away. If that sounds familiar, then this is for you. You see, the truth is, you don't need to overhaul your life in order to see results. You don't need a perfect routine, an extreme diet, or hours at the gym. So by the end of this video, you'll understand how to get healthier in a way that fits your schedule, how to get stronger, feel more energized, and have confidence without sacrificing your career or your social life. So this is mostly going to be about building habits that work and focusing on things that actually matter. And these will work even when life gets hectic. So a little bit about me. My name is Frank, and I help busy professionals build sustainable habits. Back a couple of years ago, I was 80 pounds overweight. I am a short man. I'm 5'5", and I was 200 pounds. That is an extreme amount of extra body weight that I was carrying. However, I was able to cut down to 130, 140 pounds. I am now 145 pounds. I've gained some muscle over the process as well. Now, the same routines that I follow is the ones I teach my clients. The same exact things, prioritizing the right things over the next things. The approaches that I used at first are the same ones you may have been going through. I tried going keto, I tried going carnivore, I tried going vegetarian. Almost. So the thing is sustainability, being able to keep it consistent for a long period of time. If you don't enjoy what you're doing, you're most likely not gonna keep doing it. That's why fitness needs to be personalized to you. You don't need to move your life into fitness. You need to bring fitness into your life. Now, this 100% works. If you follow every step of the process, prioritizing the right things that I'm about to tell you, it will work. Now, the first thing we need to prioritize is your sleep. Have you ever wondered why people at the gym seem so motivated, seem to be always wanting to go to the gym? But this isn't actually motivation. We are recovered a lot. We sleep around 7 to 9 hours every single night. So if you're not sleeping enough, energy decreases, your hunger spikes. You're hungry and demotivated. Now, what this causes is you feel lazy, you want to eat more. Now the cycle just repeats. You want to go to the gym, but you feel tired, and then you eat because you're hungry because you didn't sleep enough, okay? So here's the explanation behind that. When you don't sleep enough, your body gets stressed, and this rises cortisol. So when cortisol comes up, this brings up your ghrelin, which is just your hunger hormone, basically. So what you need to do, prioritize your sleep. Around 30 to 60 minutes before you go to bed, get off electronics, stop looking at your phone, just pray if that's your thing. Stay active throughout the day. I always say this to my clients. Your body will not ask you for rest if it hasn't done anything worth resting for. Does that make sense? So you need to stay active throughout the day. There's a couple of things you need to do in order for your sleep to be profound and impactful. First of all, you need to reduce your stress. I recommend taking ashwagandha and then doing some meditation, some stretches. In the 30 to 60 minute that I'm telling you to not be on electronics, you can stretch, pray. This is going to reduce your stress before you sleep. And if you stayed active throughout the day, you're going to feel like you want to go to sleep. It's like those days where you were a kid and you wanted to take a nap. It's going to feel like that again. First thing is reducing your stress, so I recommend ashwagandha. And of course, exercising. Exercising does reduce stress. And then you can also supplement on magnesium and potassium. These two will skyrocket your sleep quality. You're going to sleep more profoundly and you're going to wake up more energized. So what happens when you wake up more energized? You now feel like you want to do the things you don't want to do. Maybe not all the time, but you will feel like you want to work harder. You're getting ready for work and you almost feel like you want to go to work. You feel like you want to work harder. And this is just common sense. If you are well rested, you can put out more. Why? Because you're not focusing on resting anymore. You're not going to go home to go to sleep. Now your mind is on a completely different shift. You are more energized. And when you start hitting the gym, you're almost certain to be pushing a lot harder. When it comes to feeling stronger and looking stronger, muscles will grow when you are asleep. So every time you work out, your muscles get destroyed, your muscle fibers get a little cramped up, and then when you're asleep, they recover and they grow and your body adapts. And what that basically means is you get stronger, your muscles look a lot bigger. This of course happens over time if you're sleeping correctly. So sleep is going to be your number one priority. So without a good amount of sleep, you're not going to be able to oxidize your body fat, you're not going to be able to have more output at the gym, and your muscles will not grow as much as they could be. So without sleep, everything falls apart. I just gave you 3 big things that you can implement in your life. Reducing stress, ashwagandha, go for a run, stretch, pray. That's to reduce stress. Second is going to be your sleep quality, which is going to be implemented by potassium and magnesium. These will make you go into one profound amount of sleep, especially if you're deficient in magnesium and potassium. Other things that can help are keeping your room dark and cool, and treating sleep like a non-negotiable. I want you to try something. I want you to go to sleep and wake up at the same time every single day. If you're like, oh, I don't want to go to sleep at 9 p.m. Don't go to sleep at 9 p.m. Go to sleep at 10, maybe 10:30, maybe 11. But wake up and go to sleep at the same time. It doesn't matter if it's a weekend, if it's a work, okay? This is because your body has an internal clock. Think about it like this. The mind knows when it should signal hunger, when it should signal sleepiness, and other things. So if you're not going to sleep and waking up at the same time, your body does not know when to signal these things. So pick a time every single day of the week that you're going to wake up. If you need to wake up at a certain hour to go to work. Okay, good. So now make sure you're going to sleep early enough to wake up at the time and period. If you do this every single day, you're not going to wake up in the weekends feeling like you're tired because you're doing it every single day. Your body is getting used to this routine of waking up, going to sleep, waking up, going to sleep at the same time. So you're not going to feel tired. Priority number 2 is going to be your nutrition. So you should look at nutrition like this. It should support your life, not control it. You don't need a perfect diet. What matters most is consistency over time, especially when life gets busy. So when it comes to nutrition, protein is going to be your number 1 priority. Protein is not just for muscle growth. It's for hair growth, nail growth, even your skin. You need around 1 gram of protein per pound in body weight. Next is going to be your fats. Fats are demonized nowadays, along with carbs. So fats, you need around 0.3 to 0.5 grams of fat per pound in body weight. So don't think that because you're eating something fatty, you're gonna gain weight. That's completely not true. Next is your carbs. This is pretty much when you get to have fun. Maybe you like ice cream, maybe you like pizza, maybe you like etc. I personally like ice cream. I love ice cream. I like donuts. I like muffins. But I eat these on a daily basis. Why? Because I feel like I even like Kit Kats, little like chocolate bars. So those things, I love those. And I eat those every single day. And yet I'm able to feel and look healthy every day. So don't demonize carbohydrates. Don't demonize fats. There's no such thing as bad food. But there is such thing as a diet without balance. So if you get enough protein, you get enough fats, and you get your carbs, you're pretty much set. So now, where does weight loss or weight gain come into this? So now you know that you can eat carbs and you can eat fats without there being an issue. But how do you go from this to weight loss or weight gain? This is where it gets interesting. I'm going to talk about calories. Yes, I know. People tend to demonize calories and think that calorie counting is just something like an eating disorder. But in reality, it's not like that. So calories in, calories out, it's basically thermodynamics. There is a certain number of calories you should be eating every single day in order to maintain your body weight. So if you're not consuming as much calories as you need to maintain, your body is going to grab your body fat for energy, and it may grab onto some muscle mass if you're not lifting weights or if you're not getting enough protein. But if you're getting enough protein, enough fats, and you're getting your carbs, then it's mostly going to grab onto body fat. So now, how do you calculate how many calories you should be eating? There's a couple of ways you can do this. The one I actually go with is multiplying my body weight by 15 in pounds, that is. So my maintenance right now is around 2,130 or 60, something like that. So this is a rough estimate. If you are very active throughout the day, then it's probably going to be a lot higher than this. But on the other hand, if you're sedentary, it might be lower than this. It's just an estimate. There's also something else you can do. You can go to Google and search up a TDEE calculator. It's going to ask you a bunch of things about your height, your age, your gender, etc. to try and calculate how many calories you should eat, and it's actually going to show you how many calories you should eat in order to lose weight, gain weight, or maintain your body weight. Calories in, calories out. So don't ever think you eat a donut you're going to gain weight. Don't ever think that if you eat pizza you're going to gain weight. Nothing like that. That's an eating disorder. That's why calorie counting is actually preventing an eating disorder, because you can eat it, and as long as you're within a calorie deficit, you got nothing to worry about. You can eat a donut, you can eat the slice of pizza or two, or how many fits your calories. As long as you're in a calorie deficit, you are going to lose weight. And then you do need to prioritize your protein and your fats, obviously. One of the questions I get asked most of the time is, how many carbs should I be eating? Well, if you reach your protein goal and your fat goal, you can fill up the rest of your calories with carbs. So for example, I do a lot of physical activity, and my maintenance is around 3,000 calories, give or take. So my minimum amount for protein is actually around 140. And for the fats, it's around 40 grams of fat, the minimum. But as soon as I reach those amounts, I just fill out the rest with carbs. And I get more output at the gym. Carbs are fueling your workouts, which brings me to the second part about nutrition. What happens if you don't get enough protein or fats or carbs? So if you don't get enough protein is mainly to build things. You may not be growing your muscles, your skin health, your nail health, or your hair may not look so good. If you don't get enough fats, if you're a woman, you may lose your period because your hormones will get unregulated. So fats are there to pretty much regulate your hormones. There's also some better quality fats like omega-3, omega-6, omega-9, which you can get from supplements, which I recommend, or some fish, eggs. But it's kind of hard to get that 1-to-4 ratio when it comes to omega fats. Now, omega fats, you need a 1-to-1 to 1-to-4 ratio. For example, if you have 2 grams of omega-3 fats, you need around 2 grams to 6 grams of omega-6 just to balance out the fats. If that sounds too complicated for you, primarily focus on getting enough fats, enough protein first, and then work on the omega-3 to omega-6 ratio. That's what I did, and it works. So you just do what you know what to do and then build up from there. And then what happens if you're not consuming carbs? There's something called keto breath. Your breath may stink and your workouts may not give you so much output. Why is that? Because carbs are basically fuel. If you've ever heard of something called glycogen, it's basically water plus carbs in your muscles. This is like gasoline for your muscles. It's fuel, and it helps your muscles push through more. If you're not getting enough carbs, you may feel a little drained of energy. But of course, this happens over time. Now, it may be a little different if your insulin resistance is through the roof. What insulin resistance basically means is you eat some carbs and you immediately feel tired. This is actually related to what carbs do. They rise your blood sugar levels. And then for those levels to come back down, they need insulin. If your body is producing too much insulin because you have so much insulin resistance, you're going to feel tired. When insulin is getting produced at mass amounts, you feel tired. You need to bring down your insulin resistance, the only bulletproof way of doing that is by reducing your body fat levels. You can also do some intermittent fasting. That's beside the point right now. You don't need to do that in order to lose weight. But it would help a lot. You would feel a lot more energized when you're eating carbs. Got kind of cold in here. I'm gonna give you some extra advice. There are ways of reducing the amount of hunger you're gonna go through when you're cutting weight. But when you're losing weight, you're always gonna feel hungry at some point in time. Maybe when you're starting off, you're not gonna feel so hungry at first. Then as you go through the phases of cutting weight, you are gonna feel a little bit hungry. I'm gonna give you some tips on how to reduce this hunger. First of all, there's volume eating. There's a bunch of things you can have that have a lot of volume, means it takes up a lot of space, but it doesn't have that much calories. There's popcorn if it's not dipped in butter. Man, there's also egg whites. I even have a Halo Top ice cream. I have a bunch of these. Every week I buy like 9 of these. Halo Top ice cream is basically, for an entire container, you get like 200 to 500 calories. It tastes amazing. It kills your sweet cravings basically. So now you're getting ice cream for like 200 or all the way to 500 calories. I've never really tried the 500 calories one because that just takes a lot of space, and it's pretty much the same amount of volume for more calories. So that's not pretty much ideal for weight loss. However, you can have it as long as you fit the calories. Once again, I'm curbing my sweet tooth. I'm having ice cream, so I'm eating all of it. I actually have it for pre-workout. Every time I go to work out, I have it. It's just an amazing way of reducing hunger itself. Then there's also, of course, vegetables. So they're not there for you to be healthy. They're actually there for you to not feel so hungry. Don't think about it because you're in a diet. Don't think about it like that. Think about it in a way that you're actually helping to reduce your hunger. You're eating a lot more, filling yourself up with food, but for little calories. So do broccoli, whatever. I don't really like spinach. I don't really like lettuce. Or actually lettuce, I'm kind of cool with it. There's a lot of vegetables I don't like, right? It has to be one that you like. What I like is probably not what you like. You gotta have to choose yourself. However, there's the most filling food on this planet, sweet potatoes. You can search it up in your own time. Potatoes are pretty much the most filling food. They're actually not so calorie dense. Like this, it's like 200 calories. You can have it. You can get yourself filled up. You can just search up low calorie, high volume food. There's gonna be a bunch of these. There's also shirataki noodles. I really recommend those. You get your pasta, but you don't get that much calories. Once again, little calories, high volume. You get more full. You don't crave food anymore that much. You're still gonna crave food, but not that much. It's just gonna help you throughout your journey. And then there's also caffeine and sparkling ice. Anything that's carbonated or contains caffeine is gonna curb your hunger. So it's pretty much volume, caffeine, or carbonated drinks. So then there's just liquid in general, any type of liquid. But don't drink your calories. It's better to just eat them, so it prevents any type of high calorie drinks. There's frappuccinos and stuff like that. I'm not really too aware of those, but there's always replacements for a low calorie option. If you're gonna get some sort of drink, you don't need to get rid of it in your diet. You just need to replace it for something that's lower in calorie and you still like it. Pretty much what I always tell my clients: don't get rid of it. Have it in a moderate amount, or replace it with something that you still like and it just scratches that itch. I loved ice cream when I was a kid, and I still eat the ice cream I used to love, but on top of that, I have also added low calorie options that help me scratch that itch whenever I'm craving for that. Nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with wanting it. It's just a matter of having it under moderation and knowing the science behind it. It's gonna do you any bad at all. In fact, it's gonna help you sustain this routine of being in a calorie deficit, of enjoying your diet, of enjoying your fitness journey. The more you love it, the more likely you are to keep it up. One of the low calorie sugar options, for example, it's a artificial sweetener, I believe, the replacement for sugar. If you like your coffee sweet, but you don't want to add the sugar because sugar has a lot of calories, I believe. Get the sucralose. That's a lower calorie option. I still drink my sugary coffee every morning without having to worry about the calories. So it has 0 calories. I'll put it somewhere in there. By the way, don't be afraid of the artificial sweeteners. That's also a myth. It always comes down to calories in, calories out, no matter what. If someone tells you that seed oils are bad, artificial sweeteners and stuff like that, they're just trying to scare you into believing something that so that they get more views, more clout, or they try to sell you something. Everything is okay under moderation. You can eat anything you want, but not as much as you want. Most of the time, you can't have your 1 to 2 day or your week of vacation where you just don't look at your diet and you don't ruin your progress. Now here's how you recover from messing up. One day you ate too much, okay, or you can't stop eating. You don't beat yourself up for it. You actually don't do anything about it. You just try again with the plan. You just get back on track. You went on vacation, you came back, you ate, and you spent time with the family. It's Thanksgiving, for example, okay? Just get back on track. Don't do anything bad to yourself. Don't punish yourself. Don't do extra cardio. Just get back on track. Get back on the same plan, same calorie deficit. There's no punishment involved. Have a good relationship with yourself, with your health, with fitness. Pretty much the way you come back from a binge eating disorder, by trying again and trying to stick to a calorie deficit over and over and over, and implementing these little tricks to make you feel full faster. When you mess up, because you will, you just don't do anything about it. Try again. Don't hate on yourself. Try again. Always and always. And you realize that it's not that serious. It's just food. You can have it. You can still see results out of it by still eating what you want to eat. And then now the part that everybody wants to talk about, your training routine. You don't actually need to go to the gym 2 hours hours a day for 6 times a week. Your body can recover depending on your lifestyle. For example, if you have a very stressful life, you're probably better off working out 2 to 3 times a week. If you have a very chill life and you don't go through that many things, you can actually put off with 5 to 6 days a week. So your body has to recover from more than just working out or physical activity. It has to recover from stress and a bunch of other things, right? So if you have stress or anxiety, your mind has to recover from all of those things. So you're better off having less days of working out compared to someone that lives a very chill life. So yeah, that's pretty much the basis of it. That's why you don't need to work out that many days. Plus, if you work out around 3 days or 4 days, you're actually giving your muscles a lot more time to recover. This is something to write down or take a mental note of. Your muscle recovery is just as important as your training. So if you're overtraining your muscles, they never have time to recover. You're breaking your muscle fibers, but then they're not going to get recovered because right after you're already breaking them again. So they're just breaking and breaking, barely recovering. Obviously, it doesn't happen if it's 2 or 3 days after, but you do it right the next day, or you're not sleeping enough. They are getting overtrained. People actually experience this. They get bigger if they rest more, and they start actually feeling better, enjoying life a lot better, because honestly, gym is not the life. It's part of your life, but it shouldn't be your personality. You should train around depending on your schedule, how stressful your life is. So that's something you would have to look at. Then it comes down to these three. You want to work out your entire body at the end of the week. If you're not so experienced at the gym, you're gonna have to work out each muscle group once per week. Then as you stop getting sore, because you do stop getting sore after a couple of days, weeks, depending on your recovery, you will be able to recover from training twice per week, every single muscle, that is. This is because your body just adapts to being working out. So if you stop getting sore, that's pretty much an accomplishment. You don't think that just because you're not getting sore, you're not building any muscle. It's a myth, actually. And then on the other hand, just because you're getting sore doesn't mean you're building muscle. It probably means you're not sleeping enough, or you just hit a new workout that your muscles have never experienced. There's a 2 to 3 day split I can give you right now. Obviously, it may not work for you. You have a different schedule. I don't have your life. If you're gonna work out 2 days per week, you can do 2 full body workouts, or you can do 2 full body workouts. Okay, if you're already experienced with going to the gym. If you're not so experienced, I would say hit upper and then lower. Upper meaning your core, your chest, your back. You can do that under 40 minutes with no problem. On the other day of your training, you can do your lower body. It's gonna be your legs, hamstrings, and glutes. Actually, people separate the lower body with core included, so people may just be working out chest and their back, obviously their arms as well, because you can do compound movements. More about that in a minute. They do lower body. They actually train with their abs, just so you're training 2 muscle groups at a time each day. Here's what I'm going to talk about: compound movements. Okay, if you have 40 minutes, maybe 30 minutes, you're not going to have enough time to be hitting every single muscle one at a time. So that's why I recommend compound movements. If I do a tricep push down, I'm only targeting my tricep. But if I do a bench press, I'm using my chest, my shoulders, and my triceps at the same time. So you're going to choose compound movements. For example, if I do a pull-up, I haven't put my pull-up bar right there. I'm sorry, you can't see it. If I actually just supinate my arm, there's a different name for that type of pull-up. I always forget it. Pull-ups, they're not muscle ups. You basically do a pull-up, but with your hands supinated. Supinated basically means you can hold soup. You can think about it like that. Your hand is not supinated, it means you can't hold soup. That spills over. If you do it like that, you're actually targeting your biceps as you target your back as well. So you're doing 2 muscles at the same time. Choose movements like that. It's the same thing with your legs. You can do squats, for example, instead of doing leg extensions. Leg extensions only targets your quads, but then if you do squats, you can target your glutes and your quads at the same time. If you do 3 workouts, there's also another way. There's many things you can play around with: upper body, lower body, and full body the 3rd day. Or you can do 3 full body workouts. Or you can do upper, lower, upper, and the next time it's going to be lower, upper, lower, something like that. And then you can do that under 40 minutes 3 times a week, depending on schedule, your life, how much time you have in your hands. Maybe you can't do 40, maybe you can only do 30. Okay, then you can set up a routine like that. It doesn't have to be something extreme. You can do so much under 40 or 30 minutes every single week. You can just make progressions like that, little by little, just like that. Now here's an extra tip for you. You actually want to prioritize quality over quantity. For example, I can do 30 reps, but it doesn't matter if I can do 30 reps. What are they good quality? Am I pushing to failure? If you're starting off, don't push to failure just yet. Wait until you stop getting sore and start pushing to failure. Here's the thing: when you're doing any type of movement, there's always a stretch position and there's always that contracted position. Then you're going down. Always prioritize quality. What this means is, instead of going like this, you can do tricep push downs or shoulder raises. So there's always a stretch position, a contracted position for every muscle in your body. It needs to be stretched, to be compressed in order for a muscle to grow and for the muscle fibers to break. It doesn't matter if you can do 30, if you can do 7, well done, or 10, 7 to 10, well done, that's good enough. So you're gonna go as fast as you can up. You're gonna squeeze at the top for like 2 to 3 seconds. Then you're gonna go down slowly, 3 3 seconds, let it stretch, and then go up again as fast as you can. So this is pretty much giving you your full range of motion, and you're getting the most out of every rep. Now here's the thing, you want to grow muscle. If you do 7 reps well done today, then don't do 7 reps the next time. Maybe the next time you are not gonna fail at 7, maybe you're gonna fail at 10. What failing means in a set, it's not something bad, it's your muscles not being able to push through another rep. So if your muscles are not being able to push through the 7th rep, that means you have successfully achieved failure, which is good. But now the next time, as I was saying, it might not be the 7th rep, it might be the 10th rep. So push to the 10th rep, push to failure. As long as you're always pushing to failure, that is your progressive overload. If you're doing push-ups, if you try more push-ups, if you're doing weights, increase the weights. So as soon as it starts getting easier, increase the weights, okay? Your muscles need to keep adapting to more tension, more weight, more reps in order for them to grow, because they're growing, there's more tension, there's more pressure on them. So they need to keep growing, keep adapting. That's how muscle growth is achieved. Now, the next thing I want to talk to you about is not worrying. If you don't hit a workout one day, if you overeat your calories, if you don't eat enough protein, you don't eat your fats one day, it's okay. It doesn't matter. What matters is pretty much long term. And just a quick thing, if you overeat your calories one day, actually doesn't mean you're gonna gain weight. Weight gain and weight loss, I should have mentioned this earlier, it's on a weekly basis. It depends on your weekly calories, not your daily calories. So if you overeat your calories like 200 calories one day, it's not gonna be much of a big deal, because it depends on your weekly calories. Add up your maintenance calories daily times 7, and that's the amount of calories that you're supposed to eat by the end of the week. If you have 200 more than that, that's pretty much not a big deal, dude. Now here's the thing, if you don't hit a workout, it doesn't mean you're gonna gain weight. It does not mean your muscles are going to shrink. So don't think about working out as weight loss. Think about working out as building muscle. You're getting healthier. There's a ton of benefits to muscle mass. You live longer, look stronger, you look leaner, you look better, you feel better. There's a bunch of things. That's what training is for. It's not to lose weight. If you want to lose weight, gain weight, nutrition, your calorie intake, that's what matters. Whenever someone tries to tell you to do ab workouts to burn belly fat, and I actually fell for that for years, I did a lot of ab workouts thinking it was going to reduce my belly fat. It didn't happen. So that's pretty much people trying to get views from you, or trying to sell you something, or when someone tells you something that's not about calories, because calories in, calories out, that's pretty much the truth behind things. Some people may try to do keto and tell you that if you overeat carbs, you're gonna gain body fat or something like that. It's not true if they have their diet on their bio. So John Doe vegetarian, something like that, John Doe carnivore diet, if they have their diet on their bio, they're probably gonna scam you at some point. Which brings me to my next point, how to tell if someone is trying to scam you, if someone is just trying to take advantage of you on your money. Because I fell for this many times. Okay, if someone tries to sell you a supplement that is supposedly gonna make you lose weight, or gonna boost your metabolism or fat burn or something like that, it's bullshit. There's no such thing as something that makes you lose weight, okay? And if you somehow experienced that drinking something made you lose weight, it was probably the effect of drinking water. This was actually something I should have mentioned too. You need around 2 to 3 liters of water. Write that down as well, just so you can feel a lot fuller and you don't crave food as much, and you also stay hydrated, right? There's also other benefits obviously, but they may not be in your priority list at the moment since you're watching this video. As I was saying, yeah, drinking something, okay, it's probably the drink that's making you feel full. It just reduces your cravings, and then therefore you reduce your calories and makes you lose weight, something like that. It's always something like that. When someone tries to sell you something saying it's gonna make you gain a lot of muscle faster, and of course there's steroids, yes, but you still need to work out in order for steroids to work. There's this thing I saw on TikTok once. It was like a little object you just glue it on your jaw and it just sharpens your jawline or something like that. That is a scam. Don't fall for that. If you want to get a jawline, train your neck, reduce your body fat. If you gain muscle in any part of your body, it's gonna look leaner because there's muscle definition. When you see someone that's pretty much jacked or lean, why do you think they're lean? It's not so much because their waist is thin or something like that. It's more because their muscles are popping out. Look at the Wolverine. His chest is pretty much ripping apart, right? It's like there's a line in here. The muscles are popping out. So muscle definition makes you look thinner. So if you gain muscle here or whatever, you're gonna look thinner at the same body fat percentage just because there's more muscle. Or even HIIT cardio. HIIT cardio is a scam as well. They'll tell you you're gonna keep burning more calories throughout the day. You do, but it's like 10 to 15 calories, not as much as they tell you. They're probably just trying to sell you a course. If you want to learn more, don't fall for that, okay? There's just calories in, calories out. You work out to build up your body, feel healthier, get your protein in, get your fats in, enjoy your diet with some carbohydrates, sleep well, drink enough water, and that's pretty much it. It actually doesn't get more complicated than that. But nowadays, people want to scare you. They're trying to tell you that there's bad food. They're pretty much promoting an eating disorder nowadays. Because now you pretty much don't know what to eat. You get with guilt. You saw someone saying eggs are bad. Now, when you're gonna have some scrambled eggs, you're like, oh, I probably shouldn't be eating this, but I'm hungry. I'm gonna eat it anyway, and I don't feel guilty. And then you don't know. You don't know if this is good or bad, but you eat it anyway. So that's pretty much it for that part. There's nothing you cannot eat. Think about it like that. You just need to count the calories for it, to be accountable for it. Don't be scared of food. Don't think that because you're gonna eat something, you're gonna gain fat. It doesn't have to be like that. It only happens if you're in a calorie surplus, which means you're getting more calories than your maintenance, so your body stores that as body fat. You are worth the same amount right now and after your progress. Close your eyes and think of yourself, how you're gonna look in 3, 4 months, 5 months, 6 months, a year, 2 years. You are worth the same amount right now. You're worth a lot. You are very valuable as a person, and you are still going to be when you achieve your goals. You're just gonna be more disciplined. You're gonna have a lot more information. You're gonna have applied that information, that knowledge to your life. That's the only difference that there is. You can't blame a baby for not knowing how to walk. Right now, before you watch this video, of course, you didn't know what the steps were in order to get where you wanted to be with your health. So if you're overweight, most likely because you didn't know what action to take, what's right, what's wrong, but now you do. Then don't compare yourself to people on social media. They are always under the best lighting, good photographers, after being probably dehydrated, cutting their body weight for long periods of time. On top of that, they have been doing it for a long time. They probably have been working out, dieting for years and years now, right? So you can't expect yourself to get to that point in a month, 2 months. You already started this journey and you, okay, now I can do this, now I know what to do. You look at somebody that has an insane physique, don't look at that and saying, oh, I don't have that. What's it worth? I look like this, he looks like that. He's been working out for longer. He's been doing this for a lot longer. Probably. If you keep it up, you are going to get to that level where you have done it for a long period of time and you're going to look a lot better than you do right now. That's what I tell myself every single time. I see Alex Eubank, I see Hussein Farhat. I think that's how you say his name. I've been training for 2 years. Actually, Hussein has insane genetics. So he's been training for like a year and a half more than me. And I'm actually not even close to looking the way he does. But that's okay. Some people have better genetics. Some people have taken steroids and they don't admit it. Just focus on your progress. If you're going to compare yourself to someone, compare it to yourself. The way your life looked before, the way it looks now. And the only thing you need to worry about is that it gets better and better every single day. Or at least you're trying to make it that way. Better and better and better. And if someone else has some success, be happy for them. Receive inspiration from them. Losers get envious. Winners receive inspiration. So now you know you can eat McDonald's, you can eat Dunkin'. Just count the calories. You're going to be fine. If you like something carb dense, I recommend you have it before your workout because you're gonna have a lot more output. And one of the last things that I'm gonna say is your micronutrients. I actually bought a ton of supplements like vitamins, minerals, stuff like that. When you start doing your micronutrient, for example, potassium and magnesium, like I mentioned before, they're gonna improve your sleep, your quality of sleep. But then there's a lot of things that your body has to digest. Your body there needs to be a blood flow throughout your body. Your mind needs to think. There's a bunch of things. So I recommend you buy both a multivitamin, a fiber supplement, potassium, magnesium, and start tracking. I personally use Chronometer. I am actually switching to Calorie now just because of the micronutrients. Okay, so start tracking what you're eating. Weigh your food. Okay, that's pretty much not that hard. You actually don't do any of the counting. The apps do it for you. You can do MyFitnessPal. I do Chronometer, the Calorie. There. Choose micronutrient dense options most of the time so you feel good, and then you can go for your carb of choice, fat of choice, and stuff like that. As long as you're enjoying your diet and you're feeling good, that's probably what is going to incentivize you to keep doing it. So the first week, maybe you're not going to feel so encouraged to do this because you haven't seen results yet. But as soon as you start seeing results, you're like, oh, it's actually paying off. If I keep doing this, I'm going to keep feeling like this over and over and over again. Try and enjoy your life. Fitness is about being healthier, feeling better, not demonizing food and getting stressed out because you think you're not doing it correctly. What matters now is that you take action. And this is the last section of this video. Everything I just covered in this video is going to help you a lot. If you implement every single part, you are going to see results. However, you may not know how to implement it in your life. The first thing, for example, sleep. People have crazy sleep schedules nowadays because they don't know how to work around it. Little issues come up. When you start implementing it, that's one of the hardest parts. The second part is keeping it up. Fitness is pretty much personalized always because we all live different lives. If you want to avoid all those mistakes and get straight into developing a better lifestyle for yourself, get healthier, lose that weight you always wanted to lose, weigh as much as you weighed back in high school. There's only so much I can cover in a video, but I covered the foundations of everything. There's things like novelty. There's even hitting plateaus, how to avoid plateaus. So you can search it up, but then you don't know how to implement it in your life, in your routine, in your specific fitness journey. So if you want my personalized coaching, there's a link in my bio which you can click and apply for one-on-one coaching. We will book a consultation. I will present everything that's going to be offered for you. Guides, personalized training routine, diet, nutrition, live chat support. There's going to be content for you, daily, weekly check-ins. So make sure you are doing everything so that you do get results. Your success is my success. So if you feel like you want to start now and start changing your life as soon as you can just book a call. We're just a click away. Now, whether or not you took that step, I hope you found this video helpful. I also hope you noticed that improving your health does not require anything extreme. You just need a realistic approach that fits your life. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next video.